Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishna te namaha. Om, salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna, who is the establisher of dharma and who is the embodiment of all dharmas, the best of the avatars. Today is Swami Advaitananda's birthday. It's a very auspicious day. And we have seen at times that Advaita teachings has to be given a face as well as a life. Because it's just not a philosophy. It is intensely practical and it can be applied to every aspect of life. I used to wonder, I wish I would have had this name, Advaitananda. It's one of the most beautiful names. And looking at his life superficially, you don't really see that kind of Advaita depth. I said superficially. But when you go down to the brass tacks, you find, yeah, he was like, the name and his inner characteristics gel. And it is seen also with the belief that your name hearkens some aspect of your personality. So here we are, Swami Advaitananda. Those who have gone to Belur Math will see at the very far end on the southeastern side, on the banks of the Ganges, there is a kind of an obelisk-like structure. It's a cremation place where 7 of the 16 disciples of Sri Ramakrishna were cremated. And, it is symbolic. The obelisk was, in a way, the nonum. That is, we had these sundials, and then we had that kind of beam there. Nomon. It was called nomon. That tracks the time. It's a guidance. Mystically, it also is a source of spirituality, and which derives its kind of spirituality from the cosmos and brings it down and spreads it around. Swami Advaitananda, as it were, he supervised the entire leveling of Belur Math when it was, not habitable. And he worked really hard. And it seems like that he stands as a kind of sentinel to that work of his. We have also heard in spiritual literature, you better get realization before you're 35 or 30. Oh, it's very difficult. And we used to, oh my God, we got to go hard and hard. But once we come to Swami Advaitananda's life, there's hope. He started at 55, so that we've got plenty of time now. But the transformation comes because of him coming into that powerhouse of Sri Ramakrishna, and which we can do it, not a powerhouse. there's always one strong kind of urge which leads you to seek religion. What's that? And because of Maya, you can understand that there is suffering. It's a fact. And sometimes it becomes too large for us to handle alone. Many times we fight against it and we overcome it. And that's what human life is, but at times. So Gopal Chandra, he was born Gopal Chandra Ghosh. And he came to Sri Ramakrishna because his wife had passed away and he was grief-stricken. Because he was grief-stricken, he comes to Sri Ramakrishna to assuage. And that also, it was recommended by a friend of his, Mahendralal Pal. So why don't you go and see Sri Ramakrishna, the saint in Dakshineshwar? And he did come, but he felt kind of nothing. Sri Ramakrishna ordinarily looked just like us. And depends how deep is your insight to understand ordinary folks also. And Sri Ramakrishna also never paid him much attention. So he left feeling even more depressed. His friend says, you see these holy people, they don't kind of reveal themselves in the beginning. You've got to persist. And that's what, after some time, he did. And when he did, he comes second time. Generally we have somebody is suffering bereavement. We'll the usual platitudes, compassion and try to understand. Sri Ramakrishna gave him that strong medicine. He started talking to him about the reality called God. And as he kept on talking, Swami Advaitananda, who later became Swami Advaita, he understood the unreality of this world. So once you understand the unreality of this world, well, grief also becomes unreal. So this was a kind of a big boost for him. Then the third time, and after this, his mind was so full of kind of renunciation. He wanted to renounce the world. He comes to his third time. And then Sri Ramakrishna again plays his spiritual trick on him. And the trick is, he attracts his soul, as it were. And this Gopal Chandra Ghosh now began constantly thinking of Sri Ramakrishna. He's saying, if I would not think of him, there would be a kind of a pain in my chest. So this, he's saying, no matter how hard I tried to forget him, I couldn't. He possessed me. This is the beginning of spiritual life, when an ideal possesses you. If it doesn't, then bide your time. So Gopal Chandra Ghosh, he was 55. He was 8 years older than Sri Ramakrishna himself. He was born in 1828 and in a place called Jagadalpur. It's one of the places now which is close to one of our centers in India. And he has shifted to Sinti. That's another place where, again, we have another center there. So he was working for Beni Madhav Pal. Now, Beni Pal was a devotee, a Brahmo Samaj member, and a devotee who used to frequent Sri Ramakrishna. So, it is probable that Gopal, he had seen Sri Ramakrishna. But since he always kept a low profile, he never kind of goes and tries to introduce himself. So this Beni Pal had a shop in Calcutta in the bazaar called China Bazaar. People generally call it China Bazaar, but it's China Bazaar. So he had a shop and Gopal was one of the staff. What earmarked him, Gopal Chandra, was his meticulousness. Sri Ramakrishna used to call him a supervisor, or that old man. Get an old man. But Sri Ramakrishna praised his managerial skill, his kind of attention to detail, and his sweet behavior with everybody. So, they say that he became the vice president of the order. And he has left us his orderliness. At least in India, you find everything spick and span placed in its correct place. That shows the mind is organized, because what is inside is reflected outside. So he was like this, meticulous, and so he now moved from Siti, the place where he was staying, to Dakshineshwar. And he comes to serve the master. He was reticent to express he wanted initiation. And he couldn't tell Sri Ramakrishna straight in front of everybody. So one day, he took courage, and another disciple sees him that Sri Ramakrishna was pacing up and down the garden path, and Gopal goes and holds his feet and weeps and weeps and weeps. And Sri Ramakrishna lifts him, holds him by his shoulder and lifts him. And Gopal is still weeping. Nobody was nearby to hear what had transpired. And later on, he was found to be doing his daily spiritual practices in the temple of Krishna. So it's possible that he had got a Krishna mantra. And because his name was Gopala. Gopala is the baby Krishna. And Sri Ramakrishna makes fun of him. He belongs to a herd of cows, Gopal. So, he was, and this was in 1855. He met him in 1884. Sorry, 1884, this is 1885. And these were one of the last stages of Sri Ramakrishna's stay in Dakshineshwar, because he had already developed his throat cancer, and he was shifted to Shampukur, where Gopal also followed, and he took care of the food, the bringing. Holy Mother used to cook and all, and he was supervisor. So Sri Ramakrishna used to call him a supervisor also. So he noted all the detail of all the medicines, the food required, or the diet, etc. And as I said, he was meticulous in everything and clean, spick and span. That was Advaitananda. From Shampukur, he was shifted to, Sri Ramakrishna was shifted to Kashipur. And here again, Gopal followed. Now, one day, he was responsible for giving Sri Ramakrishna the medicines. So one day, he's absent there. And Sri Ramakrishna says, "Where's the old man?" Well, somebody said, "Oh, he's sleeping." Then Sri Ramakrishna, okay, wait. Don't bother him. He has spent so many sleepless nights. Let him sleep. Okay, you give me the medicine. There you go. His other work was to clean with this margosa leaf extract. It's an antiseptic. It's a neem. They just say neem leaves, margosa leaves, solution, and clean Sri Ramakrishna's sore. That is the cancerous sore. So one time he was doing it, and Sri Ramakrishna just uttered a kind of a cry, hurting. And he threw up his hands. So, no, I'm not going to do that. If I clean the sore, it's hurting you, and I don't want to do that. Then Sri Ramakrishna consoled him. You don't have to worry about this. Come, you do it. And Sri Ramakrishna withdrew his mind from that. And the Advaitananda was doing it as if he was doing it on some body which was not suffering any pain. All the direct disciples, all the yogis can do that. They can retract the mind from the body, from the senses, not from the senses also, even from the mind itself. They can pull that consciousness out. So this is actually what happens here. So they were constantly working. One time, and it's not only just serving Sri Ramakrishna, they used to go and meditate also. One time he was meditating, and then he got absorbed in meditation. And Sri Ramakrishna's, that routine was there. Sri Ramakrishna was a stickler for routine, unlike us. So he says, Girish Ghosh had come, and he says, oh, call that Gopal. The one whom he is meditating upon is here, suffering, and needs to be looked after. This is something kind of, his exact words were, whom Gopal is meditating with closed eyes, is suffering on a sick bed, and fancy he is meditating upon him. Now, this is an insight. It's a tremendous insight that you are meditating on the reality with an aspect of God, and that aspect has come as an incarnation there. These two things to combine is just impossible. All your rational arguments, all your philosophy, everything fails here. How can that reality called God embody itself and be like this? But you see, this contradiction will remain with us till the very end. The best of us, it will remain. How? Except for the few, they will. Girish was one of those. He had cut that contradiction. So Gopal came, and then he said, massage my legs. And he was doing that. He was a little contrite. Sri Ramakrishna says, do you think I'm asking you to stroke my legs because they are hurting? No. And then he says, oh no, in your previous births, you did many virtuous acts. Therefore, I am accepting your service. Now, this is another thing that we look at this world and think it's new. It's old as me, or old as my parents, or old as my grandparents, or something like that. This world is a very, very ancient world. And we are also very ancient people. Very. So we have a past, we have a present, and we'll have a future also. We don't know a past. Past in the sense that most of us forget even what we had for breakfast yesterday. So he had performed great virtuous deeds in his previous lives. This itself indicates one thing. Who knows your past births? Not only your that particular instance of Gopal, but everyone's. Only God knows. Only God can know. So that's one of the, you can say, definitions of an Bhagavan or incarnation is Utpatti Pralayam Yastu. Bhutanam Agadhim Gatim Cha. Vetti Cha Vidyam Avidyam Cha. So one who knows your birth and your death, your past and the future, one who knows how much knowledge you have, and one who knows how much ignorance you have, that is called Bhagavan. So Sri Ramakrishna, when he says this, yeah, he knows this. So one of the things that Sri Ramakrishna insisted for his disciples, according to their temperaments, is to make Sri Ramakrishna an ideal, a model. He used to say, I've made a mold, you just pour whatever your life into it. And Sri Ramakrishna was not a kind of monolithic kind of thing. Yes, with one note, sa, sa. No, he had various notes on his musical scale. So many people could have him as an ideal. People who are devotional, people who are little yogi, people who have got intellectual, people who are kind of, active, all types of personalities. And that is another aspect of Sri Ramakrishna we see. He can be made as a perfect ideal by all types of people. And he has given his teachings for all types of personalities. That means this phenomena can or does encapsulate all personalities. That is another indication of divinity. Gopal also learned to make, as I say, the speech and the mind one. Sri Ramakrishna one time he said, the doctor recommended 3 lemon juice from 3 lemons. And Gopal, out of exuberance of sometimes of service, he brings extra. Sri Ramakrishna takes only 3. He said, return them. And he understood. Sri Ramakrishna told, always stick to truth. Never even tell a lie, even in joke. Now this, we all hear and we all have understood these teachings, but when you try to put it into practice, it's just sometimes it's just impossible. We say, oh, the conditions are not right. Everybody does it. Oh, why should I be left out? Gopal, he followed it 100%. In letter, as in spirit, as they say. We all know how he one time had dyed cloth into ochre color and bought 12 rosaries to be gifted to people, holy people who were on their way to a holy bath at the confluence of the Ganges and the sea. It's a day is called Makara Sankranti. It's a very auspicious day. And so he was wanting to distribute it. Sri Ramakrishna says, you better give these, whatever you offered, to my children here, that is his disciples. You will find where will you find all renouncing monks? Each of them is equal to 1,000 monks. Imagine. We see, now this includes even Advaitananda, Swami Vivekananda, Brahmananda and all these. One is equal to 1,000 monks. Oh my God. Sri Ramakrishna also, before he became that wish-fulfilling tree called Kalpataru, on December 23, 1885, he wanted to bless everybody and saying, and whomever was there around, he blessed. Then he said Gopal wasn't there. They called Gopal and he blessed him also. So this incident happened before that 1st of January. So he used to practice meditation, really. And he used to sit down with Swami Vivekananda and practice meditation. Sometimes they used to go to Dakshineshwar. That is the place where Sri Ramakrishna had enacted his divine play. From Kashipur, about a few miles. They used to go at night, practice meditation the entire night. So, and Sri Ramakrishna used to, for us, okay, wake up in the morning and do your meditation. With Sri Ramakrishna, if he was there, what are you coming here to sleep? He used to tell us that. Go up and meditate. He had to meditate the whole night. One time, he was meditating with Swami Vivekananda in a room. That room still exists, rebuilt, of course. Another time, of course, before this, Girish Ghosh was meditating with Swami Vivekananda. Now, Girish Ghosh, they had led a very dissolute life, but they had been transformed. They both meditate. And to meditate with Swami Vivekananda, oh my God, that will be the best thing that can ever happen to you. So Girish was meditating with Swamiji, and it was the mosquito season. I think in Bengal it's always mosquito season. It's the rainy season. So the mosquitoes were kind of bothering him. He got distracted. He saw Swami Vivekananda sitting still, covered with mosquitoes. They're gladly feeding on him. Swamiji was completely oblivious. That was Swami Vivekananda's depth of meditation. So another time, Swami Advaitananda was in that room and meditating with Swami Vivekananda. Meditating. So suddenly he hears Swami Vivekananda saying, "Where's my body? Where's my body?" So Gopal, he got up. Here's your body. He's pressing his body. Here's your body. Can't you feel it? And saying, and Swamiji is convinced, where's my body? And then now Advaitananda became alarmed. He ran to Sri Ramakrishna, who was upstairs there. Then he said, he related what's happening. So he's saying, Sri Ramakrishna, let him be in that state for some time. He has been bothering me for quite a long time to get into that state. So what Swamiji felt later, he says that he felt a kind of a light at the back of his head, growing larger and larger and warmer, and then exploding. And with that explosion, he goes into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And that's one of the highest Samadhis. And then, and after the mind is kind of gathering itself to come down to this nervous system, it can't. There's a slight, you can say, consciousness that enters in the brain and the brain stem, etc. But and you don't feel your body. So this was his, you can say, interaction. Though he was about 35 years older than Swamiji, he used to recite Swamiji like crazy. So, because Sri Ramakrishna had spoken so highly about Swami Vivekananda, that tells us about his, you can say, personality also. whenever the disciples and all used to sing, he used to play the drums. He was a good tabla player. Another aspect of Swami Advaitananda is, you see, when Holy Mother was in Dakshineshwar, she was that bashful, shy. She always wear that veil in front of everybody. But with Advaitananda, she never wore a veil. Yes, Sri Ramakrishna had taken Advaitananda to her, say, he'll help you do grocery shopping, etc. You tell him, he'll do everything. And he used to serve Holy Mother. That is amazing. You know why? Because Holy Mother was so pure, and even the people even with the slightest trace of impurity would find it difficult. It's not Mother saying, get out, you're impure. People with impurity just could not bear to be close to Holy Mother. And for Swami Advaitananda to be there in her company and serve her, that is kind of something astounding. And so he held her in the highest esteem, and she used to look at him as a child. Yeah, that was another aspect of Holy Mother. Though he was even older than Sri Ramakrishna and all that, he was the oldest. The other disciples used to call him, okay, elder brother. The other guys used to say, oh, you're an old bull, you've broken your horns and you're moving around with the young, with the calves. Huh? So he used to sometimes go to Holy Mother. Well, that is later on, when Swamiji had also insisted that all the monks should learn Sanskrit grammar. And he had begun learning Sanskrit grammar. His handwriting also was very beautiful, because he was very organized, methodical, precise. His handwriting was very beautiful. He used to chant the Bhagavad Gita every day. And he used to look after the kitchen gardens in Belur Math. He used to grow a lot of vegetables, offer them to Sri Ramakrishna. Sometimes the extra they used to send it to Holy Mother. One time he went to Holy Mother. She was now in Udbodhan. And she says, how are you, my child? He says, oh, I'm fine, I've got a little rheumatism. And then she also very free. Oh, I've got my rheumatism. Yeah. But he's saying, but I do a little exercises for the body and then keep myself busy. And but these boys, young boys of today, they are no good. They don't work hard. Mother is saying, yes, my child, these young boys, they are they are not used to this kind of work. But you're an old timer. You look after all of them and you do all this work and all, because they are also their master's children. And it's very difficult to work with a person who is well regulated and organized. He used to pull everybody up for even the slightest slackness in everything. And it was very difficult to keep up with him, though he was old. Now, as you find, he used to scold everybody for the simple reason is, and the young monastic, they used to love him for that also. For the simple reason, it was more a token of affection than any kind of vitriolic, any kind of hate or spite. So one time he stopped. After a few days, one time he stopped scolding everybody. So what happened? He's saying, the master showed me that he has become everything. whom to scold and why should I scold? So he saw the universal form of God as Ramakrishna in all beings. I used to wonder, why did this name Advaitananda be given to him? This is why. So he saw, we see objects and people and places and things. He saw that one pervading God everywhere. So that he stopped scolding everybody after that. Now, he was always he took part in all this preaching work and this and that. But he was very diligent in his monastery work. So he used to help Swami Premananda doing the puja. And when Swami Premananda, he was not present to do puja, he used to do it himself. During his Baranagar days, the first monastery, he had traveled extensively. North India, Central India, South India. And he had come and spent his time in Benares. And his entire day was like clockwork. Even in the severest weather, they used to see him going to bathe in the Ganges in that cold water, come out shivering and chanting hymns, etc. For years, but when Swami Vivekananda returned to India from the US, he called everybody. He immediately gave up that old life. He wanted to spend all his life in Benares doing spiritual disciplines. He came here. And as I said, his first job was to level those extensive grounds of Belur Math. That place was used as a kind of a dock for repairs of ships and trawlers, etc., etc. It was kind of full of potholes. He leveled day and night. He used to go and work hard. He had the laborers also. So this was how he lived his life there. Every day he used to go to Sri Ramakrishna and say, Master, it's now time that I gave up this body. I'm doing exercises for the sake of the body, but take away all this pain from me now. So one time, after he used to pray like this, and Sri Ramakrishna, he heard his prayer. And then he's saying, towards the end, he had a vision of Sri Ramakrishna. No, he saw him with a mace on his shoulder. Now, in old days, they had those mace. It's a weapon. And that is one of the emblems of Vishnu. So one of Sri Ramakrishna's childhood name was Gadadhar, the holder of the mace. So if you see the pictures of Vishnu, you'll see him holding the mace. So Advaitananda said, Master, were you holding that mace? Saying, oh, I am Gadadhar, the holder of the mace. In this age, I will destroy everything and rebuild it. Why do you want to destroy? I mean, they come to not to destroy, but to fulfill. Come to destroy doubt, skepticism, and all these things. And also delusion. So that was. After he had his vision, then it was now clear that Sri Ramakrishna had heard his prayers. He was 81. I think he survived everybody. I think he was the oldest, yeah. Swami Shivananda was 80 and he was 81. So nobody would have believed that he was ill. He had a fever and he had a kind of a stomach upset, and a doctor was treating him. And then one day, it was December 28, 1909. So Sri Ramakrishna had shown him his vision, and then he was fully conscious. He was taking Sri Ramakrishna's name, and that is the way to go. How do you go? That is also mentioned in the Gita. Yam yam vapi smaran. As you leave your body, as you think of me and give up your body, you will not be reborn. You will be absorbed in me. That's a teaching. So he was fully conscious. He was taking the name of Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Premananda comes and pours a little sanctified water in his mouth. It's called a Charanamrita. Takes that and gives up his body. This was his great life. So his name, the bliss of Advaita, the bliss of non-duality. And we see how a person who had started late his spiritual life, I mean relatively, at 55. So there's hope for all of us. But you've got to come to Sri Ramakrishna for that. And he succeeded. Not only that, he proved equal to all the other disciples, also the younger disciples. Everyone used to praise him. And he tried hard to, you can say, emulate Sri Ramakrishna's ideals. And he became a source of inspiration for them, for the other disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. They used to, Swami Turiyananda, one of the greatest disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, say, every morning we used to see Advaitananda wake up early in the morning, go to the shrine and do his meditation. And he was so organized in his work, etc. We learnt a lot from him. So this was, and he still continues to inspire us today. This was one of his contributions, not only to the order, but to the philosophy of Advaita. How to put Advaita into practice. People think, oh, you have to Advaita Vedanta, close your eyes and meditate. Think yourself as the Atman and everything else is unreal. That, oh, this is how you practice Advaita. And he showed it in his life. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. The announcements. This evening we have Ram Nam after Vespers. Those who would like to join in person, welcome. And those who would like to join us on the live stream, well, you can download the PDF, the Ram Nam songs. And our regular programs have now commenced. As you can see, we have next Sunday, Swami Brahmatmananda. He will be speaking on some aspects of Towards the Goal Supreme. And then we have also programs on a Wednesday and Friday and retreats, etc. from a Swami who's coming from Sacramento. That's the second week of September. For QAs, I wish we all could think of the Lord with the last breath. Oh, it's very easy. Do it. But the last breath, it's how you live, it's how you die. So it's like that. We think, oh, at the end, I will become very religious and I will take God's name. It doesn't happen like that. It's very difficult. So you've got to keep on practicing now, so that will be the dominant thought that will arise when you're leaving the body. Because otherwise the mind is in a turmoil. As when the life forces are beginning to leave, they kind of, it's like uprooting you can say, the mind from the body. And that's a time when there's a confusion. So in many cases, to help a devotee, Sri Ramakrishna himself appears. And that is, if you can, so even if you don't remember, Sri Ramakrishna comes and then he's, oh yeah, sure, you leave. So that is his grace. So we can do that. Another thing is, we could go on and on. Are there any questions here? I think we can. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.